we never ask those questions, can we be better? Is this working? I mean, it works for now, sure, but what about scalability? If you don't stop and ask yourself, is this going to cause a problem? Could we fit 20 more guests through in this hour? Then you probably won't find a solution if you don't ever ask the question.
Welcome to the Coffee Experts Club, where we discuss all of the insights, expertise, and drama that goes into making your passion your profession. Our hosts, Aaron, Ben, and Drew, are three coffee experts who have taken their coffee experience and turned it into true expertise. They have consulted with major coffee brands throughout the United States and beyond, providing operations expertise and growth strategy for drive-through openings, multiple locations, and everything in between. So brew yourself a cup and hang out a bit with the Coffee Experts Club.
Like, we were in the prime position at Roasters to be the most innovative just because we had to. Like, that was part of our deal, was like, okay, we have to constantly innovate and evolve because we're literally making this up as we go. We're figuring it out as we go. Like, nobody was like, here's how you start a coffee shop. We're like, all right, here we go. So if we were in that position to be the most innovative we were, and we still needed to bring in help to go, okay, what are we missing? Even more so if you're an established company who is, been around for 10, 13, 15 years, like, your evolution, your innovation is going to just inherently have slowed down because you've made it. You don't have to grind and figure out building your business as you're going. So in that sense, I would say even more so, you should be looking at outside experts, outside people to bring in, because you've already built your business. Your business is done. There's no like figuring out how to continue building. It's built. So at that point, bring somebody else in, because your innovation is probably not incredibly necessary 100% of the time like it was for us. For us, it was 100% of the time we need to constantly evolve because we don't know what we're doing. We're going to figure out as we go. If you're an established business, you know what you're doing. So bring somebody from the outside in to go, hey, but have you looked at doing this? Like you said, have you looked at doing it this way? Because these young startups over here are trying something new, trying something different. They're evolving. Just look at stamp cards. That's what it took with that. Like, stamp cards were the method of operating in the industry for, since the 90s. It's like, stamp cards are nothing. If you don't have a stamp card, then you might as well not call yourself a coffee shop. Until somebody was finally like, hey, why don't we just digitize those? People keep losing them. People are faking them. And how many coffee shops are still like, no, paper stamp cards, it's all we do.
Right.
Stamp cards. Until you go down the street, and the coffee shop down the street's customers are way more engaged because they have their stamps on their phone, and they're coming back more often because they see it constantly on their phone, getting notifications. Like, that sort of stuff is the innovation that you need if you're an established company, of somebody coming in and saying, hey, look, there's some people doing different stuff. Let's talk about evolving your business after it's already established.
I remember at Roasters, the way that we progressed from, just the running system. And I know that there's still coffee shops out there that don't run. And now I see retail businesses like Chick-fil-A, they run orders now. Or
That's right.
who else? Somebody else I saw recently, a food place running orders. And to me, that was kind of an alien concept. Like, it was like, okay, of course, coffee's coming because of how fast paced it's got to be. Then you think they're probably trying to turn burgers and fries at the same speed.
Same philosophy, right? Like, the more cars you can get to the drive-thru, the more money we make, right?
Yeah. And so we started verbally, we'd run out and take a couple cars and come back in, and, baristas weren't always running. It was kind of slow. And we, we progressed to little whiteboards, and you can only take a couple orders at a time, progress to sticky notes. I call it progress, but it doesn't sound like it. Sounds like caveman speak. Different colored pens for the drive-through versus the in-house. And then, slowly evolving to iPads, and slowly evolving to, beyond to POS systems that had it integrated. So, if we never ask those questions, can we be better? Is this working? I mean, it works for now, sure, but what about scalability? If you don't stop and ask yourself, is this going to cause a problem? Could we fit 20 more guests through in this hour? Then you probably won't find a solution if you don't ever ask the question.
Yep. And challenge your ego too, right? A little bit. Like, I think a lot of times what gets people committed to whiteboards and different colored, like color coding on your markers, is whoever was at the head of that wasn't comfortable with technology. And so they made a fundamental decision based upon ego of feeling like they had to be the one that had the right answers only. You know what I mean? Like, that leads to dangerous places. Realize you're not always going to be the smartest one in the room. Like, a lot of times you may just be the front runner. You were just the one that was brave enough to start. You know what I mean? Like, but there are probably a lot of people in the room that might be smarter than you. Be humble enough to realize some other people here might have some good answers. You know what I mean? Some other people here might have some good insights, and maybe we might need to make a fundamental shift because probably you as the owner aren't working the window anymore. Right.
Mhm.
So like it doesn't need to be limited to something that you understand. It needs to be generated by what's going to turn the most cars and be the most profitable. Like what's going to have the best adoption from customers and translate that into cups out the window. Like what are the things that we need to do that work, and if that is whiteboarding and markers, I think everybody's got something different. Like there are different people that do different things for different ways it works. I would just say, don't let ego play into that where you're making those decisions based on what you're comfortable with. Look for smarter people in the room. Look for what adopters are doing other places, and be willing to try change. I think that's the way you stay alive, right? Is you evolve. Like you got to evolve with what people are wanting now. Be careful of getting stuck.
Steal and replicate. Look at a lot of Dutch Bros, what Starbucks was doing, what BlackRock was doing. You're like, that's a great idea. How can we do that?
R&D, right? Rob and duplicate.
Yeah.
Well,
Not research and development, but rob and duplicate. Absolutely. 100%.
the growth of your business is also like a organic, it's like a relationship between you and your customers too. So, listen to what they're saying. And we had stores all over the place. I have a store over in West Richland, and a store in Kennewick would be very different because the customers out in West Richland did not want me running out there with an iPad and taking out orders. But the customers will tell you, we couldn't stand still. Like Ben said, we had to innovate all the time because the customers always wanted more and wanted faster and wanted better. And, you have to listen to those things because if you're not growing, what are you doing? When you teach a younger kid to serve people, same place that's not, oh, I'm serving you and like, I hope you tip me.
Right.
It's from a place of I'm serving you because you're here and this is my job and you deserve it and because it's great. And so when they're in the heat of things, and something happens on bar, we all know things can get heated just because you're all kids and you're all, running busy businesses. If you have that place of heart within the business, they treat each other a lot nicer.
But I will say too, like, I think that when you can, I think that was something also was always said at roasters that I thought was really smart was, hey, don't forget why you have a job here. Like you have a job here because of consistent customers coming through, or otherwise none of us get paid, so be really careful in the way that you triage customers. And that's why on our scorecard, and that was like final iteration, like as we developed scorecards for roasters was how many complaints have we got? What kind of complaints are they? But we had tracked that all the way along, but I felt like the scorecard put it right in everybody's faces and made each regional have to speak to knowledge base of why was somebody complaining at a store that was in your district. And I felt like that accountability was really good, of an intimate understanding of how are your customers perceiving the service they're receiving, and I think there's a lot of value in that. I know we had a customer reach out this week about happy hour. Can we talk about happy hour real quick? Cause I feel like maybe you're in the middle of summer. Maybe you feel like we all know like May, June, that's when you fall into seat banging, right? People come out of winter and they're like, give me my blended, give me my energy drink. Like people are just slamming, like everybody's numbers look phenomenal in May, June, right? But come this time of July into August, weaning into September, things start to slump, and so we got to get a little bit ingenuitive about how we're driving traffic. And conversation came up this week by one of our coffee clients about, hey, do you guys have any ideas for generating revenue? We're hitting a little bit of a slump. And we talked about happy hour. Ben, do you want to kick that off?
Yeah. I mean, happy hours is a really easy thing. It's something that most people know about. I mean, it's just like a part of American culture's happy hour for good reason, I would say. Doing that in coffee shops, I mean, just as easy. What I mentioned with them is finding, obviously we're in the summertime, so it's got to be an ice drink, and find, a couple of your most profitable ice drinks, whether that's energy drinks, which it was for us was our case, or whether it's cold brew. Cold brew is a really high profit margin product just because it takes nothing to make, ice Americanos, ice lattes, whatever it is. But, picking a few hours out of the day where you're either offering a discount on that item or you're offering, extra stamps on that item, whatever it may be. We always did it, usually in the early afternoon or like trying to hit like a drive home from work time. Cause you don't need to mess with your mornings in the spring and summer. You really don't. Keep those as your big money makers. What you want to do within the happy hours is boost those couple lowly hours in the afternoon and the evening where you see that low in traffic, and every coffee shop owner is going to be able to see that. I mean, it's pretty typical across the board when it comes to this industry. Usually you got your rush all the way up to your lunch, the 12 o'clock hour, and then you get that slump from like 12:31 ish to about 3 o'clock, 3:30. just sort of a weird mid-afternoon time. People aren't really out getting coffee at that time. And then you see a pickup when people are after work, and then you see that slump again after the work rush. So I always recommend, 1 to 3 is a great happy hour time. Discount iced drink, or like a 3 to 5:30, 3 to 6. That's a good happy hour time too. Cause that's sort of grabbing the people as they're coming home from work. And then, yeah, picking your most profitable drink that you could eat a discount on, like a cold brew, $2 off cold brew, double stamp energy drinks. I would typically stay away from blended drinks unless you're making your own frat mix like we did at Roasters, because those are your most expensive drinks to make, typically, unless you've got a really expensive energy drink too. But finding those really high profit margin items, eating a dollar discount or two on those, or eating a stamp on that, can help sort of beef that lull in the summer. And for the most part, it's all about keeping traffic too, like keeping people engaged with coming to your shop, because during the school year, people are in routines. When it comes to summer and they're on vacation, people's routines get broken up. So it's all about keeping that traffic routine too, and keeping yourself in front of people's eyes.
And a lot of times we do it on, like, you don't have to do it all locations wide. You know what I mean? Maybe not all your locations are feeling it, so sometimes you just need to boost maybe one of your locations that's limping. Great. Start it there. Like that, when we first started kicking off happy hours, that's what we did. Like kick it off. And for us, remember at the time it was Carmichael. How can we drive more people to Carmichael in the afternoons? Oh, real simple. Let's start a happy hour there. Drop it down to a cheap drink for energy drinks. Energy drinks for us, we got them down to 17 cents per cup of cost when it came to the filling it with, because they had created their own proprietary energy drink, which, by the way, Collab team does for people. So we would love to help the coffee experts to do that. But at 17 cents for your physical product plus ice in a cup, lid and a straw, putting it out the window, like, you can afford to make those, you can drop the floor on those things and make them so crazy. And so we drove crazy amounts of traffic to our slowest stores, ones that really were feeling in the afternoons. So sometimes it's just an issue of driving them to that place. And like Ben was saying, creating a new habit, right? Everything's about creating a habit. Like if you drive them that and you run that for a week or two, you've just created a new habit of somebody coming to your shop every afternoon for an energy drink, because that's become their new thing when they're feeling energy low at work and trying to skip through the last couple hours of the day. So,
Yep. I remember working those happy hours too with all that traffic. Make sure you prepare and have at least an extra hand ready to go. More times than I can count, we did not have that. And you want to make a good impression. And that's of course, but you also want to make lots of money by getting as many people through as possible.
Drew's like that effing Ben. That effing Ben in his happy hour. Anyway, take your happy hour, Ben.
Because we're like, hey, Drew, by the way, we're doing the happy hour tomorrow. What? Yeah. We were talking with Lindsay too. She even said, like, points and stamps drive coffee customers bananas. Never understood it. I still don't, because it's just like, you're still paying like $60 and for like a $6. The return as a customer is like not really there, but they love freaking stamps and stamp cards or points and all that. So tying that to happy hour it's a really good way you can sort of offset that, having to eat the revenue on that too, because you're going to, maybe if you're doing double stamps during happy hour, I think you even sent the math there. I'm like, instead of 5 drinks to get a free one, or instead of 10, it's now 5 drinks to get a free one. So they're still spending quite a bit, and you're offsetting having to eat that discount right away. Like with a discounted drink, you have to eat it right now. With a stamp, you can eat it down the road.
Loyalty is so important. I think that I talked to a local coffee shop around here that had moved away from stamps, obviously for all the reasons we know, like there's just fraud and like people giving out drinks and all those different things, right? But like movement, they walked away from loyalty altogether. They stopped cards and stopped doing loyalty. And I'm like, they've got loyalty tucked into it. You know that, right? Like, and you can build your list and you can get to email stuff out. Like, there's so many benefits to doing loyalty, but the cheapest one is what Ben just hit there, is people go wild for extra punches, like go wild for extra points for something that like I was talking about, we did the math for Lindsay, and it was like, if you offer them at that velocity, what you actually are giving them is 10% off that total amount of drinks they bought from you. Well, 10% discount isn't anything sexy. Like that's not a sexy discount, and your profitability sure as hell better be able to brace for a 10% discount every once in a while. Like it's like you're asking for half off, like you're giving them 10% off. So making people feel good about loyalty for what? For a 10% discount after they bought 10 drinks. Like, no, that probably justifies it. I would say, yeah, for sure. Let's go with that. And so don't undervalue loyalty because man, people, they want to be loyal to you, but there's like, I saw, like I was a customer at that coffee shop. The reason why I raised it, I left a note for that coffee shop 3 times. Hey, my team can help you set up loyalty if you don't know how to set up loyalty on your POS. Like, don't miss it because the negative chatter that I hear in the line, people are not happy that you're telling them that their cards don't work anymore. People are not, that you're not giving them stamps for every time they purchase. People want to be loyal to you, but they also want to be recognized for their loyalty. So
Yeah, there's certain, I mean, from a revenue standpoint, from a logistics standpoint, like I'm on board. Like I hate that, like when selling a product, I also have to give you a piece of a free product. Like for me, like on a business standpoint, like that just grinds my gears. But there are also some things in the coffee industry that are baked in when you start a coffee shop. This is a cultural thing that you're not going to change no
That's
matter
right.
how you try. It would be like somebody opening a bar and saying, "Hey, I'm not going to offer Bud Light." You're shooting yourself in the foot for no reason. Like these are things that you have to have because every customer is going to expect that you have it. And when you don't, they go, "Well, I got 8 other options. Actually, they've got a loyalty thing down the street and they're doing double stamps. I'm going down."
coffee experts, we value you. Thanks for showing up. And we'll see you next week. We've got somebody new in the hopper for interviews. It's going to be pretty special. Don't miss it here at Coffee Experts Club. Thanks, John.
Bye, guys.
Thanks so much for joining us today. For those of you who are looking to become a coffee expert yourself, we offer an incredible, thorough training online for opening your first coffee drive-thru at www.myfirstdrivethru.coffee.